fire as Elon Musk. That South African we all know and love, the modern day Iron Man, if you will, is going to take over Twitter finally. Looks like he's going to do the $44 billion deal. Also, a good friend of mine, 70s rock fan, reminded me that this is the 60th year of James Bond. So I figured we'd talk about Bond tonight, show you some of the things that are going on in that universe. And lastly, Razor Fist. That guy is something else. He put out a new video today, and I had to comment on it. What he's dubbed the Iron Age of pop culture. Let's take a look at it and see what's going on with it. I'm glad you're all here, and welcome aboard for State of the Atmosfere. All right, boys and girls, welcome aboard for State of the Atmosfere, the show where I just talk to you guys in the chat and see what's going on with you, and maybe have a few friends drop by. Hope you're doing well this, what date is it? Is it October 5th already? I swear, the older you get, the faster the years fly by, guys. How you doing tonight? What's new in your world? Let me know. This is the show where I get together with you guys and see what's going on in your world. I always start with a few subjects, and the first one we're going to talk about tonight is Mr. Elon Musk. He has decided to go ahead and buy Twitter. What in the heck is going on there? You've got to be kidding me. I thought he was just trying to expose the bots. Man, what is going on with this guy? Well, we're going to find out shortly. Let me pull this up real quick, and we'll pull up this article from, I think this is today. No, that's an older article. I guess I grabbed the wrong one. That's all right, though. I'm going to find a new one. We'll get to that soon enough. That's the old one. Let's pull up a new one. Let's see. Yeah. I was in such a hurry, I grabbed one that's too old to use. Okay. I wonder what happened there. Okay. So Elon has decided that he's going to go ahead and buy Twitter. And we'll go ahead and take a look at what's going on with him. I watched the Quarterings video on it earlier today. And sure seems like he could, I think from what he was saying, let's see. Yeah, here we go. Sorry about that, guys. I had the wrong thing up. All right. Elon Musk is buying Twitter again. What does that mean for Tesla? Who cares what it means for Tesla? But we'll take a look at some other headlines on that thing. Let's see. The Verge, what are they saying? Twitter trial is still on, and Elon probably deleted some signal messages, judges say. Wonder what that's all about. Hmm. Boy, incredible shrinking future. Look at all these negative things they got up here about this guy. 3 reasons Washington is freaking out about Elon Musk right now. Former Chinese state media editor threatens Elon Musk on Twitter. Warns he will be taught a lesson. What? Lindsey Graham suggests pulling Tesla tax credit after Elon pieced it. What in the hell? Okay. Wow. And that's through what is that through? That's through Microsoft. That's the kind of headlines you're getting out of Microsoft. You believe that? Let's see. Let's see if we can't find something else. I want to find out why they're saying it's back on. So what's going on out there with you guys? Let me know in the chat. Uh-oh. Who is that? Courtney, just letting you know that I am here watching you, but I'm gonna watch it on the TV and not be in the chat. But hello to anyone that shows up. Also, much love as always. And oh, have a great show. Thank you, Courtney. I appreciate it, darling. I told you I'd invite you. You know, nobody is obligated to come hang out with me. You come hang out with me when you got time. Some people got busy lives. I know a lot of people don't stream at this time of day. I mean, it's just a good time of day for me. But anyway, I still want to find some stuff on him buying Twitter. What is, I mean, I saw this earlier today. Okay, this is The Verge. Hang on, here we go. Maximum Amazing. Here's what we think we know about Elon's plan for Twitter. Elon Musk has big plans for Twitter, and they include people paying money to tweet, bots getting the boot, and social media network that doesn't care what you say as long as it's legal. Huh. I have tons of ideas. Elon Musk's rented lips. Musk texted Twitter CEO. I can't pronounce this name. Parag Agrawal. Agrawal. I guess Parag Agrawal. I don't know. If you're out there watching Parag, correct me in the chat. In April, but see, they don't even friggin' God. It makes it hard to read these things when they don't even. But L I, or excuse me, LMK. I don't know if I'm pushing too hard. I just want Twitter to be maximum amazing. I don't know what he's. They need to edit their stuff. I swear it's ridiculous. Hey there. Hey, what's up, Vince? It's good to see you. Oh, you're fine, man. You're fine. Let's see. Hey, Ron, what's going on, man? Nah, you're just old. No, I'm telling you, dude. Look, I took journalism when I was a kid in college, man. When I was younger than you, Ron, and these editors that edit these articles, really, I mean, they need to fire them. It's ridiculous how bad it is sometimes. Let's see. Oh, Courtney's talking to you there, Vince. I always love your name because I have a brother, but I call him Vinny. There you go. All right. Anyway, he wants to do some amazing things. This was a few days after he agreed to join the company's board and a few weeks before he decided to buy the company instead, before trying to renege on the deal. I don't know that he was reneging on the deal. Here's what's up, guys. He's a businessman and he's not stupid. Okay. God blast it. What is with the Nats this year? It's ridiculous, man. He's not an idiot. he was trying to leverage to get a better price, and he did it by trying to prove that like more. They were stating that I think they were stating that 5% of the accounts were bots on Twitter, and he was trying to say it was more than that, and he wanted to see solid proof of that, and they would not release it. And so I think that's what the whole, they call it reneging, but I think he was just negotiating to get a better price. Let's see. As long as you don't call me Vinny or Vinny, we're good. There you go. Okay, bye. Vincy, Ron says. Too funny. You guys are great. But yeah, I think that's what all that was. I think he always intended to buy it. I mean, it's if it's run right, it could be bigger than it is now. You know, and I know there's probably employees of that place in a panic right now if he's going to go through with the deal. I mean, let's look at it. If he backs out of the deal, he's going to have to pay $1 billion to the company for messing around with their time and their stock prices or something like that. But I don't know. I think he's always wanted to do it. And I just think it's funny as hell. I went to get some news about it, and all it was stuff trashing him and saying his businesses were going to die over it or something. That's crazy. That is absolutely nuts. I mean, how can they? That's nuts. Okay, here we go. MSN has a little bit better article. It looks like Elon Musk's $44 million Twitter deal is back, and Donald Trump could be returning to the platform. He's already stated in interviews that he wouldn't be banning. He'd lift the ban on Trump. Let's see. Vince. I usually go by Vincent, but there were too many running around the Nerdrotic Geeks and Gamers members, so I changed it to make it easier. Yeah. Vince, it's funny. My stepson Devin changed his name to Vincent, and I thought, that must be a popular name. Must be a popular name. Does it have something to do with Final Fantasy? What? I mean, I know my stepson was really big into video games, but and his hero was always Sephiroth. That guy. Is that Final Fantasy VII that he's in the first time? I don't remember. I mean, I'm not a fan of the franchise, but my kids always played it. I mean, oh my god. Another one of my stepsons, David, man. He friggin' yeah, I've raised a lot of kids that aren't mine, guys. A lot. I've been married 3 times. Let's see. Never played Final Fantasy. Yeah, I haven't either. I haven't. Ron says Final Fantasy VII, very popular character. Okay, gotcha. See, there it is. That's why you're seeing so many. I think that's why you're seeing that name in that geek crowd so big, so many times. But back to the article over here. It says, in a saga that's been running the entirety of 2022, Tesla SpaceX CEO and world's richest man, Elon Musk has revived his $44 billion offer to buy social media giant Twitter. And if he keeps at least one of his past promises, former President Donald Trump could be headed back to the platform. The about face comes after months of wrangling that began with Musk buying up stock in the company in January 22, then offering to buy the company April 22, then reneging on the offer. Like I said, that was a maneuvering tool, I think. July 8th of 22, arguing that Twitter hadn't met its disclosure duties when it comes to identifying the number of fake or bot accounts on the platform. Twitter called shenanigans on the argument and filed a lawsuit against Musk in July of 22, looking to compel him to follow through with the deal or pay some very hefty penalties. So Twitter deal is back on. Musk and Twitter. What are you doing? Go away. What is this thing doing? Go away. I said go away. Damn it. Where? No, which one was up? There it is. Okay. What is this thing doing? Okay. So the Twitter deal is back on. Musk and Twitter were just a couple of weeks away from the launch of their legal battle in Delaware, especially court when it was disclosed on Tuesday in U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission filing that Musk's legal team had proposed a do-over to Twitter's lawyers. Not surprisingly, Twitter accepted. The exchange puts the deal back on its original terms, wherein Musk will cash out Twitter stockholders at $54.20 per share, the number behind the $44 billion buyout. While Musk lawyers have asked that a legal proceedings come to a halt, including his previously scheduled deposition that was set to begin on Thursday, Twitter has yet to call off the lawsuit. So that's where we sit today. Let's see. Ron says that was he's a vampire. You remember the vampire fad, right? Yeah. I'm sure Devin was all wrapped up in that. I don't understand why Musk is now paying the full amount instead of cheaper one after a more accurate bot count came out. I don't know, man. Actually, I think there's he doesn't want to do the deposition. I don't think. I think he's afraid of what they're going to ask him. He is a businessman. They all bend the rules. Let there be no doubt. A businessman bends the rules. Okay, so, and he may be afraid of what it will do to the Tesla stock. Who knows, man? He may be doing this just to keep from doing that deposition. So I don't know. Okay, I lied. I'm still here in the chat. Laugh out loud. I called my brother Vincent as well, but I don't think of Final Fantasy. I think of Vincent Price. Okay, yes, the famous horror actor. Yes, Vincent Price. He's awesome. By the way, you need to watch 70s Rock Fans channel. You may be on the show, right? Next Monday. It's Hammer Horror Studios. Bunch of their movies. Let's see. Vince says, or Lorenzo Lamas character from Renegade. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let me get a sip of coffee here, guys. By the way, if you guys hadn't seen it yet, my wife's been working on merch for the website. We just got the website up. We're going to have merch available by the end of the month. Privateer coffee mug. What's up? Yeah. Let me show you that real quick, guys. Shoot. Let me do a little self-promotion. It never hurts to self-promote, does it? All you have to do is punch in Joe's Atmosfere. I got this over the weekend. Went through GoDaddy for hosting. And this is it, boys and girls. My new website. It's in its fledgling thing. It's got a little graphic, a little GIF of all the shows I do. And then it's got a button that goes straight to my subscribe star for supporting the channel, right? And the comic book. And then it's got some stuff on here, shows and events, about me. You can find out some stuff about me and my past, what I've done, my favorite work that I've done, what I do today, schedule of all the shows for YouTube and Twitch. And it's got all my social media links on it. And it's even got an email where you can get a hold of me at. How you like that, boys and girls? That's what's on there so far. And you can see down here on the bottom, setting the tone for your business or home. And portrait sketch lessons. I've been practicing with my granddaughter to give lessons in portrait sketch. If you guys want to learn, that's my specialty. Commissions and merchandise will be available soon. We're hoping to get the merchandise up and running by the end of the month. So, yeah, the website is up and running, guys. Check it out when you have time. joesatmosfere.com. Just the way it's spelled on all the videos. But anyway, so what do you think of Elon going ahead and buying it? I'm really excited. I'd love to see mean tweets again. That would be hilarious. I think that would be just hilarious. Let's see. Vince says, yes, but when Trump used two rules they made, that's bad. But when Trump used two rules they made, that's bad. I don't know. I don't know what rules you're talking about. But let's see. I'll set up my laptop and come on and say, hey, just behind my avatar. I just may not last long because of this talk to text is hard and I can't read on my phone very well. You're fine. Worry not. Looks nice. Thanks, Vince. I appreciate that. But yeah, go check it out when you can. So I think it's going to be cool, man. I know this. I saw a tweet by Comics earlier today. He was saying, I'm wondering, when Elon takes over, when they get rid of the bots, how many followers I'm going to lose. I thought that was funny. I doubt any of the bots they're using would follow anybody on in our quote unquote fellowship. Let's see. Vince says, I don't really care. Never was on Twitter. Never going to be. Well, I'm on there for one reason, man, just to see what these guys are going off about, basically. And it's good for ideas for content for shows, people that do live streaming like this. For instance, the subject we're going to move on to next was I got hyped about it because of a tweet by that 70s rock fan. I keep forgetting it's the 60th anniversary of James Bond. That movie came out in 1962. And so, yeah, we might as well go ahead and move on to that one. Let's see. Yeah. 60 years of James Bond, ladies and gentlemen. Who's your favorite Bond? I've even got a 30-question quiz on here that I pulled up that I saw that we're going to go through and see if I can answer the questions. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a big Bond fan, but I don't know if I can answer the questions. But yeah, 1962 is when Dr. No came out, man. And yeah, what do you think of him? Who's your favorite Bond? Let me know. Hang on, I got a buddy coming in right here. Let's see. It's not Big Daddy. How you doing?
Hang on, I'll be right back.
Let
me get the proper background going.
You're good, man. You're good. Let's see.
There we go. Got to make sure that's there.
Yeah, you got to have the jersey. Everybody's got to know you're a Broncos fan.
That's right.
If you guys don't know, this is the co-host of NFL pregame party we do on Sundays, and he's the football guru. I'm just a guy that likes the game.
I don't know about guru anymore. This week was awful in picks for me.
It was awful for everybody, man. It was awful for everybody.
Well, Eric, you'll see him on Sunday again, I'm sure, because he's been 11-5 this last week. So
wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Vince says, "Sorry, brain fart. The Dems flipped out about little taxes Trump paid, but he just used the tax loops the politicians put in place." Well, yeah, he said that in interviews. He said that in interviews before he became president. He was like, look, I'd be stupid not to take advantage of this stuff. Everybody does it. It's the law. He's just using the laws to his advantage. You want him to pay more taxes? You don't want him to use those loopholes? Then change the law. I mean, let's see. Connery. Vince's favorite Bond is Connery. You're not a big Bond guy, are you, Knock?
Not really.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just not something that I really ever got into. I don't mind the whole premise of it, but I don't know. I never watched them growing up, so it was just never part
Oh,
of.
that's
You know,
that's one of the things that. Let me pull it up here.
I think I grew up in between the series or something like that. So I was like,
Okay.
you
Yeah,
know,
it
it
had
was kind
some
of a big deal
downtime
before,
here and there.
and then it came back after, and I was already not interested. So
Yeah, there was
not.
definitely some up and downs of that for sure. Let me see. Where is the one that I retweeted today? Oh yeah, here it is. Okay, so I want to show the original tweet first. Hang on. This is what inspired me to do James Bond on the show tonight, guys. The original tweet was from that '70s rock fan. He said, "60 years of Bond movies, my entire life, and almost 70 years of novels. It's hard to estimate the impact this series has had on my life, the hundreds of hours of enjoyment and entertainment, the eternal discussions with other fans, sheer magic." And I feel the same way. I grew up with Bond. They started the Bond movies about 3 years before I was born, and when I was growing up, hang on, I'll 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 just read mine. I retweeted his, and I said some of my fondest memories as a kid were watching James Bond on ABC's Sunday Night Movie. We'll have to make this subject uh, tonight on State of the Atmosphere. Thanks for the heads up, pal. I have a 007 martini glass, which you see in the picture there, and I carry a Walther because of him. Yeah, I've got a Walther CCP. It's their concealed carry version of the Walther 9 millimeter, and one of the main reasons why he carries it. Hang on, let me blow this picture up. This is from my bar that me and Rhonda had put in last year. Let me see. Is it not going to let me make it any bigger? Nah, it won't. Shoot. But anyway, that's it right there, guys. That's my martini glass, and that sign right there says Klein Street Corner Club. That's the name of my bar at my house. So anyway, that's the guy that gave me the idea for the show today. Uh, uh, that '70s rock fan, and I'm a huge Bond nut. I love James Bond, man. Bunch of cool stuff with that. Let's see. Uh, see what I did there? Definitely Connery, Sean Connery. Yeah, Bond, James Bond. That's right. That's how you say it. You got to say the last name first and then the full name. Um,
Well, I'm
but
sure you're going to be excited here. I'm sure in the next couple of years there's going to be a Shibon. I'm sure that's coming.
oh God,
That's
please.
that's that's going to be
No, I
coming,
won't go.
right?
I won't. No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no. We
Come
will.
on.
They are.
No,
They
you're
can have all the female 007s they want. James Bond is not a female. Sorry, just can't do that.
well, might be
Look,
time. Might be time.
man. Mm. Did you see the last one? Did you see the last one?
No, I gotta do the Daniel Craig marathon run.
You got to
I
watch
just
all the Daniel Craig ones. I would
yeah,
suggest you start with the first one and go all the way through it. It's
do
it's
a full on marathon.
the full on marathon, man.
I gotta
Everything.
figure out where to do that then.
Well, I can give you the list. It's I can I you know
Or
it's
I mean,
bad.
where to
This is how
watch it.
big a fan I am. I could sit here and name it right here, right now, without even looking anything up. Every damn movie. Let's see. What's Vince saying? I basically stopped watching Bond after Brosnan. Too much action, too little spy stuff. Yeah, yeah, I could see that. But the thing that Brosnan could have done another movie, but when they made it's arguably one of the worst ones. It's got some good stuff in it, but when they made Die Another Day, uh, they went way over the top with the CGI stuff, and you just James Bond, you know, it's not science fiction. It's a spy story. You know what I mean? And so, okay, hang on. We got another guest coming in here. Hey, Courtney, what's going on, young lady?
Hello, I'm Courtney. It's
Yes,
Courtney.
it's Courtney. What's happening?
I was making my Bond joke.
Yes,
Not too much. I just I was into the content you were talking about, and I really cannot read very well. Not
it's
meaning
fine.
I'm a good reader. I just can't see very well
I
through a chat.
suck at it, as you can tell. You hear me stammering all over the place.
And
But
yeah, I didn't. I'm not on camera because I'm in bed. So,
I
but
understand. I
I figured I'd
understand.
be part of it. And I can't see who that is on the name, but it's nice to
His
meet you.
name is Knock. His name is
Knock.
Knock. He is a good
I
friend of mine.
I
Yes.
heard Broncos. I live in Colorado. Um,
Yep.
so I'm not a Broncos fan because I'm born and raised in Philly. I'm an Eagles fan.
Oh man.
I'm an Eagles
No,
fan.
I'm sorry.
Hey, they're doing good.
Yeah, they
They're
are.
don't
Darn.
be
That's why he's
sorry.
saying I'm sorry.
And I
Wish
got
his sister
very
was
happy
sorry.
that they beat I will still call them the Washington football team because it was hilarious because my ex, who is almost my ex-husband, like in a couple weeks should be over.
Mhm.
He was a Skins fan. So
Wow.
I refuse to call them anything but the Washington football team, even though they're the Commanders now, because he
Mhm.
like almost cried when they changed it to that.
Oh, I don't call them the Commanders either. I call them the Commandos.
Well, he would like that too much because I think he flies commando. So you know what I mean? So,
Well, I just think the name's stupid. Every
uh,
player on that team's a commander, so there's no
we have
Chiefs.
so much
There's
like
no Indians. Just a
I
bunch
say
of
we. I'm
Chiefs.
about almost out of here. I'm just staying here out of survival right now because I haven't found a place. But
Mhm.
he there's so much Redskins gear here. I mean, it's crazy.
Mhm.
Like, and he will
Yeah.
never not, and he still wears those shirts. You know, he'll still
Yeah.
wear it all. Somebody gave him a very funny shirt with the logo, and it says Caucasian. The Caucasians on it, which I thought was
My
I've seen that one.
gosh, man.
it's terrible, but it's funny.
Oh, man, that's crazy.
Sorry if that gets you in trouble, but
No, it's not gonna get me in trouble. Don't worry about it. Hey, look, I'll cut it out later. It ain't no big deal. If
yeah,
they get me
sorry
in
about
trouble,
that.
it gets me in trouble. But I think it's dumb that they changed the name. I
I do
really
too.
do.
You know,
Uh,
like I think the erasing of anything in history, like not just football names and stuff like that, is silly.
yeah.
Like the taking down of statues and stuff like that. I
Mhm.
think people need to know what happened in the past. You can put plaques and stuff that describe things, but like that's history.
Mhm.
I don't know
Yeah. And
everything in
if you
general.
forget your history, you're doomed to repeat it. No
I think
doubt
that's why
about it.
a lot of folks are weary about that. Was it the Woman King movie that
Yeah.
came out? How
Yeah, I
it's
heard the
just a
story on that one. Yes. Yeah.
completely false narrative
Oh my
Yeah.
god!
for the
Don't even get
movie.
me started on
Yeah. Mhm.
It's like it's not even close to what happened.
And
Yeah.
I'm a
Mhm.
woman,
Yeah,
so
let's just
like,
do
and
that.
also there can be no woman bond. No way.
Hello. Even
If
women think there shouldn't be a woman bond.
there
There
no,
there
that
can
does not
be
exist. If
there
anything,
can be
make like a movie about like on a top because I thought she was really cool.
right.
She was like
Yeah, she was
badass.
awesome. Femke Jansen's great, man.
Yeah.
But you can have female 007s. They had one in the last movie, you know? Uh,
Yeah. Well, I didn't see the last one. The last one I saw was Goldeneye in the
They
theater.
they had a female 00 agent. Yeah, she
I
was
haven't seen any since.
007. He had been
Okay.
gone for a little bit, and it was kind of funny. You'd have to see it to get all the jokes and stuff, but well, it's pretty funny because she's always, you know, they give him the running joke is she's trying to find out which 00 he is because they give him back his status when he comes back, right? And they won't tell her what number they gave him. It's funny. You'd have to see it, but
I
um,
just noticed what Vince wrote.
oh,
And I can read it on my computer. He says I
mhm.
basically stopped watching Bond after Brosnan.
Right, and that's
And
what I
that's
was
when I did. The
talking
last
to.
one I saw, because it was Pierce Brosnan, right? In
Yeah, and
GoldenEye.
right before you came in, I was going to speak to that. I think they realized they really had to start over after Die Another Day, because they had gone so over the top with the CGI in it
I can't
that,
stand CGI. Sorry.
well, I mean, they
That's my
went
opinion.
nuts. In particular, the part that killed me, well, a couple of things. First of all, the invisible car, right? It apparently had all these mirrors and stuff on it that made it look invisible. It showed reflections on the side of the car. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then the other thing was when he was remember it was a satellite that shot that big ass sun focused laser, and he was trying to outrun it on a big ice cliff and ended up, what was he doing? He was like surfing down an avalanche with
I
a
have no idea what you're
parachute.
talking about.
I'm telling you, watch the movie again. It was so stupid. It was ridiculous. He took a piece of the housing of this. It was like one of those really fast rocket things that they do land speed records like in the desert and on ice, you know?
Yeah.
And he was in one of those, and this laser was trying about to catch up to him, and it was causing an avalanche, and he had to drive off a cliff, and he I don't even know the logistics of it, but he ended up surfing with a parachute down the side of yeah.
Stupid.
Here, Vince
I
is
agree with
talking about it
Vince.
right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And didn't Idris Elba say that Bond shouldn't be black? I don't know if he said that or not.
I just say stick with the character. It has
Surfing,
nothing to do with
surfing
like.
on a tidal wave. It was actually an avalanche, but yeah, pretty much. I mean, it was melting ice and it was stupid. You're absolutely right. It was completely dumb. They realized after that movie and the amount of special effects they put in it, they needed to get back to real stunts, real stuntmen, which I love. I think that's awesome. But one of the things Vince is saying about the Daniel Craig ones is they didn't do as much spy stuff and it was more action oriented, which, you know, that's like a Bourne movie. I get, is that what you're
I was
saying,
about to
Vince?
say that.
It was it was more like Bourne.
I only saw the
instead of being,
first one.
really? Oh, those
Yeah,
Bourne
and
movies
I
are
got
good.
to meet
They're pretty good.
Matt Damon right after. It was
Really?
cool. Yeah, it was some
They
question
also
and answer
did
thing.
what's his name, Hawkeye, and some of them did he do a couple?
Who?
The what's his name plays Hawkeye. Didn't he do a couple Bournes
Jeremy
as well?
Renner did one.
Yeah,
He did
yeah.
one. What were you saying about Matt Damon?
Oh,
Courtney?
I just my girlfriend used to do like what do they call it, PR or whatever, and
Mhm.
so the Bourne Identity came out when I was in my 20s, maybe I'm going to say. What year was that? That was like
Oh shoot.
98 now.
Let me pull it up. It's been a while. It might have been
Bournes, I
around
think those are early
2000.
2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was
think
like
so.
well, yeah, like mid 20s maybe, or early to mid 20s.
Mhm.
But yeah, my girlfriend did PR, and so I had just seen the movie, and then they did this thing afterwards, and I was invited to it. It was just because of her, you know. She
Yeah.
got me and
It's
my roommate in.
2002. It was 20 years ago.
Yeah,
Yep.
I just moved back to Philly from Boston, so that makes sense. Yeah, and he was there doing like a question and answer thing, and because he's from Boston, and I was there with my roommate who had moved from Boston with me. Like the question she asked him, it was just funny. She said, "Do you want to go to a wicked kegger with us after?" She was making like the Boston jokes to him, but he was cool. But I only saw that one, so I barely remember it, to be honest.
Well, I tell you, the
I remember
only
thinking it was
one,
good.
the only one I don't remember is the newest one.
Yeah, I haven't seen any.
The initial. Well, first of all,
Did you
it's
see them,
based
Rock, by the
on
way?
a series of books by a guy named Robert Ludlum, and I read them when I was a kid.
Oh.
Yeah, they've been around since the 70s. Vince says, I like the Bourne movies because they don't have the history behind it, unlike Bond. Yeah, exactly. And what they did with that, just like Bond, they made a movie out of the trilogy that Ludlum had written, and it's a lot different from the books, but they made it basically for this age, and I enjoyed him. But the first guy to play him, believe it or not, here's a little trivia for you guys. First guy to play Jason Bourne was Richard Chamberlain on television in a TV movie, The Bourne Identity. Look it up.
Oh.
Yep. I believe it was in
Did
the
not know that.
80s he played that part. Yep. It was a TV
I have a
movie.
question for you, and
Go ahead.
for you, what is it? I keep calling
It's
him Rock.
Knock.
I'm
NOC.
so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Or
Knock.
Ron.
All right.
I have a question though, because this is something I have recently started to think about, and I don't really watch movies lately just because I don't have the attention span with stuff that's going on with my health. However, do you think, what would you think of this statement? I have considered, instead of reading the books first, seeing the movies first and then reading the books. because I'm often extremely disappointed. And I'll give you one example. One of my favorite authors and one of my favorite books. Don't think I'm twisted, but American Psycho.
Yeah.
When the
Okay.
movie, to me, after reading the book, was a complete letdown. However, it's not a bad movie. I think if I'd seen the movie first, then read the book. So what's your thoughts on that? Do you still believe in reading the book first and then seeing the movie, or
Me personally, it doesn't matter to me. I know that they have to change things. For instance, I'm a big Spider-Man fan, right? And when they made the first Spider-Man movie, they made his girlfriend actually his second girlfriend in the book. They didn't go with Gwen Stacy; they went with the redhead, right? They went with MJ, and I wasn't mad at it. I guess I figured that they were taking their one shot with the movie and just seeing if they were going to make, going to be able to make any more of them. But I'm not that big of a disciplinarian when it comes to uh, taking things and putting the written word on the screen. I mean,
which one are you talking about? Like, because the one I think of is with Kirsten Dunst, but I'm like, that's
it. That's
The
it.
That's what
Tobey
you're talking
Maguire
about?
one.
Yeah, the Tobey Maguire one, the
That's-
original one in 2000.
that's the last one I
two.
saw, and I actually
Yeah.
enjoyed that. But
Yeah. Well, see, that wasn't his first girlfriend though. His first girlfriend was a girl named Gwen Stacy, and
I didn't
her
even know that.
dad was the captain of the police force. Captain Stacy, and it was a big part of the whole Goblin story, really. But most purists probably got mad at that, but I didn't get mad at it. I'm just glad to see Spider-Man was on screen. But as long as I would say this: most of the time, the books are going to be better because they can get more into the character development and stuff. It's a long form, so you get a lot more out of it, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Movies have only got two, and like Lord of the Rings, they had to go three with each one. But, for instance, when we went and saw the first Fellowship of the Ring, my wife had never read those books, right?
Mhm.
And she yeah, that's who you need to ask about this, my wife, because she's never read anything that we watch now, the Marvel stuff. But she was trying to finish the book and she couldn't finish it before we went and saw the movie, right? And I'm sitting there remembering the book from when I was 11 years old when I read it. I'm watching it on the screen and I remembered everything. And she was telling me, well, why didn't they put this in there? Why didn't they put that in there? And I said, probably just for, the sake of editing to keep the time down, because if they put everything in that book, they could have made a trilogy out of the first book.
I thought Lord of the Rings. So when I did the Lord of the Rings, I saw the first one, the Fellowship of the Ring, and then I read Twin Towers.
Okay.
And I don't know, like I know with a lot of books like Harry Potter. I read the Harry Potter books before they came out with the movies,
Right.
and there was so much little details, a sycophant that I read Harry Potter a lot when I was younger, because I was right when I was in middle school, high school kind of deal.
Right.
The seventh book came out when I went to.
Yeah, you're about the
18,
same age as my
so,
daughter. Yeah. She was big into
kind
it
of deal.
too.
But with Lord of the Rings, that was when I was in like middle school. I read the Twin Towers, and I thought the book or the movie was like same thing. Like I didn't really notice, maybe it was because I was younger or what, but I didn't notice there was so much similarity from the book to the at least for that particular instance with Lord of the Rings, and except for at the end where the spider was
Right.
that he fights was actually
That's
in the third
actually in the
movie.
next one.
It was
Yeah.
rather than it being in the second movie, it was in the third
Yeah.
movie. That was the only major difference that I remember there being. But other than that, like it was
But it
spot
didn't
on.
bother you, right? Yeah.
No, there wasn't. But like Harry Potter, there was a lot of things were like, well, this character did that line. I noticed it a lot more in Harry Potter, but they had to like break it up so in different ways, or they.
But
didn't
did it
wanna,
upset you? Did it ruin your
it
enjoyment
bothered
of
me
it?
a little bit. For at least for Harry Potter, because I guess I was just so passionate about it. It was something I grew up with, that I
Right.
wanted everything. I wanted to see everything that I knew of the series encapsulated on the screen, and there was differences. And it,
Yeah.
it's slightly annoying. I don't know if it ruined it per se, but then plus that and they kept changing the sceneries. All the different Harry Potter movies are different. Hagrid's house was always like somewhere else. Like they were always
Okay.
changing to increase the size of, to make it bigger, bigger, bigger every movie.
Wow.
They kept changing the grounds
Mhm.
it. And then of course I never liked the newest Dumbledore. It was very unfortunate that the actor that played the first two Harry Potters as Dumbledore died,
Okay.
because I think he was perfect for that role.
Yeah.
But the one that took over, I didn't like him at all.
Yeah.
At all. I didn't like his acting style at all.
The
I think
first guy that
not a-
played him, I forget the name of the actor, but the movie I remember him the most from was when I was a kid, was A Man Called Horse. And he was also in a really good movie called The Wild Geese that I loved. What is that actor's name? Richard Harris. Yeah. That guy was awesome as Dumbledore. Yes, you're absolutely right. He
So
died playing the
I
role.
think it depends on the story, and
Mhm.
obviously they're gonna Hollywoodify it, kind of deal.
And I'm glad you brought up this subject, Courtney. Let me get to these comments real quick we got, and then we'll get back on it because I do have some more to say about this. Vince says I objected to the casting of Kirsten Dunst. I did too. She is not supermodel quality. I'm sorry.
She was just
Mary
annoying.
Jane Watson is a friggin' hammer. She is a supermodel. Okay, she better look in the
I think
Giselle.
Kirsten Dunst is beautiful. I really do.
I think she's beautiful, but she's not
She's not
supermodel beautiful.
for that.
No.
Well, yeah, but I don't think that needed to be. But that's just my opinion. Continuing, go on.
Spider-Man fan, I'm telling you, yes.
Yeah,
She's
I'm
supposed to
not
I
be-
saw
huge
I
into-
saw a picture today of the first actress, Acock from the House of Dragons,
Mhm,
the younger queen version.
mhm.
An artist did a rendering of her as Spider-Gwen, and it looked
Really?
really cool.
Did
Yeah,
it?
looked
I'll have to
really
check that
cool.
out.
Yeah, look that up for sure.
Anyway, Vince says her acting isn't that good, and she's always looks a little stoned. I think her acting is just fine, but that's just me.
I think
Uh,
she's perfect in
yeah.
certain films. She's
Yeah.
more of like a indie kind of.
Yeah, it depends
fit
on what
for
she's
me.
in. Yeah, it depends on what she's
The
in.
Virgin Suicides was amazing.
Yeah, I like the
Her
one
and
she did with Jim Carrey. The one where he was trying to wipe his girlfriend out of her mind, and she was
Oh.
working for the company that was doing it. Yeah.
Wait, Eternal Sunshine.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. She was in it, but she wasn't the girlfriend. She was the one that was having the affair with the guy that was working for the company. She worked for the company.
I can't remember a lot of it.
Yeah, she worked for the company that was wiping his memory. Yeah.
Can I just say one thing really quickly?
Go for it.
When I know nothing about Harry Potter, and when Knock was talking about Harry Potter, it's like Chinese to me. Like I hear all
Yeah,
these
I know.
words, and I'm like, but
I was
also
name
the
dropping
Lord
like
of the
crazy.
Ring movies. I did go to the theater to see all three, and I fell asleep during each one. Not
Wow.
laughing every
Yeah.
single one.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
I'm not a huge fan of the lore. It's probably because I don't know enough. That I don't know. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that.
Just to
John.
put it in perspective, Courtney, Harry Potter is basically his generation's Star Wars. It really is. My kid had to be at every show the first day just to see it, and
I know
every
it was
read all the
huge.
Every
books.
generation right now is Star Wars.
Well, you know
No,
what I'm saying.
Oh, not
You know what I'm
I
saying.
liked only the Star Wars that was 70s, 80s. Once Jar Jar Binks came in, I never saw another Star Wars. I'm not lying. I just
You know what you understand what I'm saying though.
Yeah.
They're big fanatics.
yeah, I'm a
Let's
Gen
see.
Xer, I get it. So.
Vince Womack says, especially when she tries to be romantic. Yeah, it just depends on what she's in. There's Royal Fox. She says, "Hail chat, just jumping in for a minute before my meeting.
Hi.
She is busy tonight. She's not here.
Hello.
That's why I do this during this time frame. I know she's going to be busy with stuff, so I'm not taking time away. Let's see. Vince says maybe they used and what I don't understand what he's saying there. Maybe they used a TADIS spell. I don't know what that is. Yeah. And he's saying hi to Rhonda. But anyway, I'm glad you brought this subject up because I read a lot of books and I'm not always hang on. Vince says I don't like J.K. Rowling, but I have to give her credit for getting
Yes.
more kids to read books. Hell yeah, man.
Yes,
Hell
yes,
yeah,
yes.
for sure.
My career was as a teacher. I don't work currently,
Absolutely.
but
Anything to
yes,
get
yes,
people
yes.
to
I will
read.
give. Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree.
Yep. But as far as the written word versus the film, I'll give you the example I always bring up. There's a guy that is from the part of the country that my mother is from. You might have heard of him before. His name's Stephen King, and he
Huge
writes some
fan.
great books, but his stuff does not translate to the screen very well at all.
I will
most
agree
of
on most of that.
yeah,
I would say the movies have actually turned me off from ever actually reading his books.
see,
I
and
will
that's
say that I'm
I
afraid of
will probably
anything he
never read
does
Stephen
now.
King at all. And
I stayed in
mainly
the
'cause I don't care
hotel
for books.
from The Shining, the original hotel that it's based off of, not the one in the movies. The one that made him think to write that.
the Overlook.
And
Yeah.
the Stanley Hotel, it's called. It's in
Right.
Estes Park, Colorado, actually.
Mhm.
Oh gosh, that's all I'll say. Haunted. It definitely.
I'm sure it is.
I'll never be right again.
But this is the thing, Knock. A lot of his stuff, it does not translate well. Look, my favorite book he's ever written. Actually, I mean, it's a scary book, but it's more of a, I don't know how to put it. It's more of a post-apocalyptic thing. It's called The Stand, and it is a great story. Oh, hang on. Vince says, that's what I thought you might mean, but I didn't want to assume TARDIS, a time and relative dimension in space. The reason why in Doctor Who the police box is bigger on the inside. Yes, absolutely. I thought that might have been what you were talking about, but I didn't want to speculate, man. Yeah, I got you. But Knock, you really need to. I would say if you were going to try a Stephen King book, I would recommend The Stand. Knowing your love of things like Star Wars and Harry Potter, I also would recommend the Dark Tower series. That is his Lord of the Rings. That I mean, if you saw the movie that they made with Idris Elba not too long ago, it's got a few things from it, but it's more of a Reader's Digest version of it, and they just scratched the surface of that story. It's 7 books long, and it is fantastic. The Gunslinger's like a. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I like Misery. That's like a huge.
Misery's a fantastic book, and it actually did well on the screen. I thought it was a good interpretation of it. Yeah, Kathy Bates won an Academy Award for it. She was awesome.
She was an awesome.
Yeah, she was scary as hell in that movie, man. But some of his stuff just doesn't translate well to the screen, man. But I tell you, the best books I ever read by him was The Stand, the Dark Tower series. I have a special because I love cars. I loved Christine. I thought that book was fantastic, especially a lot of the references to music in it.
Me too. Yeah, that's cool. I know you and I have the music thing, because we've been.
Oh yeah, love the music, man. But
I think the only books I really read besides the Star Wars ones were Tom Clancy.
Yeah, I've read a lot. I was fixing to say I've read a lot of Tom Clancy. Now here's sometimes, and I feel like Marvel has done this with their interpretations of the comic books, and The Hunt for Red October. That movie right there with Alec Baldwin. First of all, I don't care what anybody says. I know he's a flake. I know he's an idiot, but Alec Baldwin did the best friggin' version of Jack Ryan that's ever been on screen. I'm sorry. He just did, because if you've read those books, Knock, you know that Jack is not James Bond. He's the anti-Bond. He's just a regular guy that ends up always being in the mix, right? I thought the end of. Have you read The Hunt for Red October? Have you read that?
No, I think the main one I read was the.
I didn't think you'd have read it, Courtney. All his books are. Oh, you have? Okay,
yeah, I read the book. I never saw.
Okay, well, this is the deal. Knock, I'm sure you've seen the movie before, right, Knock?
I believe so.
Okay, well, anyway, there's a part at the end of it where there's a sub trying to sink them, and they've got a guy that's actually a KGB agent that was a cook in there trying to set off a nuke to destroy the sub. And it's happening. These are two events that are happening at the same time in the movie. And I thought it did well for the pacing of the flick and keeping it going and keeping it exciting. In the book, they're two separate incidents. They don't happen at the same time. You know what I mean? And I thought that was a really cool way to do that, was in the movie, have it going on at the same time. It made it twice as stressful and all that good stuff. You know what I mean? So it was pretty cool. Let's see.
He has terrifying books in my eyes. Like it scared me. What was it? Firestarter, Cujo. They just.
Oh, you're talking about Stephen King again? Yeah.
Yeah. But the movies, like the movie versions, all I think traumatized me as a kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't know what it is about his stuff, but it's never. The books are always better. His stuff, the books are always better.
I never finished it because I was a kid and it was really long. And I was a reader, but it scared me.
Yeah, it's. I tell you,
Pennywise.
I couldn't finish it. That's my brother's favorite book by him, and I still haven't seen the movies yet. I need to sit down and watch those. I just don't get to see as much horror. See, when my daughter was still here a decade ago, I saw a lot more horror then because she and I both got into it and watched them. But my wife hates horror, so I never see that stuff anymore.
I love horror when I have someone with me. However, I'm single, so right now I will not watch any horror stuff because I'm too afraid.
I hear you. Let's see. Vince says misery, forced injection at gunpoint. Glad that's fiction and would never ever happen in real life. Oh God, man. Yeah, that's a scary story, man. It really is. But what it was is it's every person that's in the public eye's biggest nightmare, that one of their crazy ass fans is going to take them out. Let's see. Have to agree with you on Baldwin as Jack Ryan. Yeah, I mean he was fantastic as Jack Ryan. Look, the next guy they had play that role was Harrison Ford, and who wants to believe that Harrison Ford doesn't want to get in a fight? Come on, man. Give me a break. He always wants to beat somebody up. Let's see. Hunt for Red October is the only Tom Clancy book I have as a hardcover. Oh, yeah. It's a great book. Did you know this? Here's a little trivia about that. When it was first published, they called him into the White House. The White House called him in, and I don't know if you know this, but the government looks at every book before it's published. They always have. And they called him in. They wanted to know how he knew everything he knew about our defense system in that book.
Did they try and ban it?
No, they didn't try and ban it. No, but they wanted to know where he got all the information from. Wow. And because they thought they might have a security leak or something. And he just said, look, I have a friend who's in the military, and he showed me where it's all public record. He showed him the public records he looked up, and it's all stuff you can look up if you do the research. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you what, if you haven't read it yet, you need to read Red Storm Rising. They'll never make a movie out of it because it's too big a story. It's about, he wanted to know what it would look like to have World War III with conventional weapons, no nukes, right? And the premise of it is scary as hell, guys. It really is, because it could happen.
I am a fan of alternate history. I do like seeing those shows. What was I forget the name. I haven't watched it in a while. There's a TV show out that's about if Hitler had won.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
You're not talking about the
Man in the High Castle.
Man in the High Castle?
Yeah.
That's a series that I tried. It was a little slow going, but I may revisit it because I did like the premise of that, man. Doesn't Japan have half the country and the Germans have the other half?
Yeah, and then there's there's a divide in the middle where it's like the I don't know, the free zone or whatever like that.
Will you
Right.
put the name of that in the private chat just so I can copy and paste it?
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely. I'll do
interested
it
in
right
that.
now. Hang on.
Yeah, Man in the High Castle. That
The
was
Man in the High
I'm
Man
a
in-
huge fan of alternate history stuff like that, and that
I
was.
find that stuff very interesting.
And they
too.
show what do they go into, like the 1950s, I think 1960s or something like that. San Francisco, just Japan owns that, and then and then you have
wow.
the German side where they had
That-
DC and all that good stuff, and
So interesting.
and then they have Adolf Hitler as well. Old man Adolf.
Wow.
And
Vince says Red Storm Rising is still on my to read list. Go ahead and read it, man. I will tell you the premise here in a second, and it's scary as hell because it could come true.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to read it.
Yeah, it's well, I don't know
I
if
would
you guys.
I would like to read it, but I don't want to think.
I don't
You know
know.
what I mean? I already think enough of like what.
Right? You don't want to overthink things. Yeah, I
I'm
got you.
definitely an
Yeah,
overthinker. So.
yeah. You like to sleep at night, right?
Well, I don't really, but I'm not lying. I'm like diagnosed with insomnia.
Really? Wow.
Actual diagnosis. But yeah,
there's
I
another
overthink
one.
things. So
Sorry, I
yeah.
didn't mean to cut you
No,
off there.
go on.
There's another one that I've been watching it too. It's pretty good. It's a little bit more modern in its taste, but it's called Motherland, and it's basically about if the Salem witch trials were real.
I've seen that one. Yes,
where
we
there's
watch
actually
it
witches.
religiously. Yes,
and
they're
then
witches.
basically the
Yep.
witches, form their coven or whatever,
I
and then
would
they
love
become
that.
an arm of the military.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's cool.
And then
It's
it's
cool.
now and then now it's just modern time. It's America as it is now. It's just except it has witches.
Yeah,
I would love that being
or the
from a family
fabric
with
stuff.
redheads because redheads historically were called witches. So, my mom's a true redhead. I was a blonde with the redhead gene, but I would love to watch that with my mother.
Yeah.
Did you put that in the private chat too? Because I forget everything.
It's
Yeah,
definitely got a modern
absolutely.
twist to it because it is, it's got some, it's definitely a little bit modern. And it's,
Now I think Motherland is available on Hulu.
Oh yeah,
Am I
Hulu.
right about that? Is it? I think that's where we watch it, is on Hulu.
I don't watch a lot of stuff, but I put these on lists because these are things that I'm gonna want. You know what I mean? Like I do actually keep a list of things.
Yeah. Now, Man in the High Castle. I'm not sure where you watched that one at.
I think it was on Netflix, but I'm not too sure now.
Let's take a look. Well,
I can find it eventually. My first matter of business is the original. I've never seen an episode of Star Trek.
Really? Oh,
yeah. And being on Sunday Night Geekery every week.
You got to start watching.
I'm going to start it from the OG though. Like I want to see the 60s. I like 60s stuff. So.
Oh, you'll love it. That show right there, man. Yeah. My favorite episode of it's Doomsday Machine, and Mark D with a C is always showing off his Doomsday Machine that he 3D printed with the little starship in front of it.
I recognize all this because they talk about it so much, and so I want to watch it and then be able to because I ask questions a lot. I think that's why they have me on the show. I ask the questions that people, so people will watch that don't know things, they'll answer these questions. But yeah, I'm actually really excited because I love television that wasn't what do they call it now, where it's like in a row. Like you have to watch one episode to know what's happening the next episode.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure
lost?
the term, but
there's a term for it. Like, is that serial?
Yeah, it could be it.
Something like that. But I like that the idea also that it's back in the time of you could watch any episode, kind of. You don't have to see
you can judge it by one episode.
Yeah. I still want to watch.
Actually, the original series only has 1 2-parter. It's called The Menagerie. And
I'm excited for that. That's going to be my first.
Vince Womack says, "Have you guys seen Fatherland with Rutger Hauer?" No, I have not. That's a new one on me, buddy. I'll have to check that one out. And Gal, sorry, Courtney. What?
About
guys and Gal. Yeah,
gotcha. Guys and Gal.
Yeah, and Gal.
Serialized.
He's saying it's serialized. That's the term. Yeah, that sounds
serial.
About right.
Okay, yeah. Like
I was never the biggest Star Trek fan. I didn't really. I don't know.
I'm not interested in the later stuff as much.
It was Star Wars and it was Stargate. Stargate is one of my all-time favorite series ever.
Yep.
I never watched Stargate Universe season 2. to this day, because what was it? Battlestar Galactica was another show that I really liked, and
The new one, the reboot of
the
it.
new one, the rebooted one. And Bill Adama had a line in there where he says he never finished his favorite book because if he didn't finish it, it never ended.
That's right.
And for whatever reason, in my head, I applied that to Stargate. And so I've never finished Stargate, officially watched the second season, because that was the last season of Stargate ever, of any of the. There's 3 different series, and that was the last one, and I never watched it. So
I wish I had done that with The Sopranos.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Because that was like my favorite ever. I wish I had done that with The Sopranos. I really
The Sopranos was awesome.
I actually haven't watched The Sopranos either.
Oh, buddy.
Oh my goodness.
I've been planning to, but it's such a daunting task with all. There's a lot of episodes in that.
No, but once you get into it, like if you, you won't stop.
There'll be a time where I binge watch it, but for sure. It's on my list of things to watch.
Yes,
but don't watch the last episode.
Yeah, don't watch the last episode of it.
Listen,
it will upset. The ending will upset you.
I had to do Game of Thrones, so I'll have to take the bad ending with the rest of the show. So
I've also never seen Game of Thrones, and I've been told by one of my best friends that I would love it.
That's a great show. It's halfway through the last season. It's a great show.
He's been trying to get me to watch it for a long time, but
House of Dragons.
Joe, you haven't seen Game of Thrones either?
I've never seen it. No, like I tried to explain to him once. I like and I'm not a prude. Don't get me wrong. Okay. It's just my fantasy stories. I'm more of a Tolkien guy. I want a little bit less TNA and blood and guts in it. I like my fantasy a little bit more noble, if you understand what I'm saying.
High fantasy or whatever.
Yeah. I like the labyrinth, and I like the never-ending story.
Yeah. Well, see, the 2 previous
Willow's coming back, by the way.
Yeah, they're making a new Willow.
Yes,
they're making a new Willow. Yep. Oh.
I don't like that. I don't like remakes. I wish they would just keep everything.
It's the same guy. It's the same guy's coming back.
Still, I'm one of them. I like to keep things.
This isn't a remake. This is a continuation.
Well, it's all the CGI and how everything look. I actually enjoy watching TV and movies without all the special effects. It's over sensory load for me. I don't know. I just
speaking of that, we got a nice break of Marvel movies at the moment, and they got that movie coming out here soon, Amsterdam, which just seems jam packed with all kinds, and it just seems like a 90s 2000s movie. Like it's got so many actors in it.
It does.
And it looks like a fun story that you would see in the 90s and 2000s.
It comes off like Snatch to me.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yeah,
that's what it looks like.
It's a very, very, I'm sure there's going to be some really good scenes in it.
Yep. Vince Womack says Fatherland is also alternate history where Mr. Hitler survived and is about to meet with JFK until Hauer uncovers something. Okay. That sounds cool,
That's
man.
Very interesting.
Is that a movie or is that a TV series?
Not sure. Vince, let us know. Is that a TV show or is it a movie?
I think I was going to read the book because I remember seeing that as a book. It's definitely.
I don't know what it is about Mr. Hitler, but they sure like to make stories about him. There's a really good one called. I saw the movie, never read the book, but it's called Boys from Brazil. And
I've heard of that. I haven't seen it.
They clone Hitler and they try and create him again. It's all the Nazi scientists from back in the day. They have cloned him. Let's see. It's a movie from '94 is what he says.
That's what I saw when I looked it
up. Okay. We'll check that out.
Oh, my goodness. Can I just say one thing?
Go ahead.
Because you said that about the certain scientists.
Yes.
So I'm not going to go into it, but I have a chronic illness, and the name of it used to be called Wegener's. They are now taking that name and changing it to this it's a really long name now, but because they found out that that doctor that found out about this rare disease was a Nazi doctor, and he did all of his experiments on people in camps. And when I found that out, I was like, that makes it more evil.
Right.
But yeah.
Well,
Well,
you know,
well, the
not
one I'm
condoning it or
talking about.
anything, but they learned that
But they
the
did
U.S. military
figure
or
things out.
the U.S. took that scientific research and used it.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, they
exactly.
did.
Like
For
they
sure.
wouldn't know what I have without that. It's just, with the
So yeah,
premise
We
not,
of
would
not
it,
have,
I was
condoning.
like, it's evil more.
boys
So
and girls, we would have never made it to the moon if it hadn't been for those scientists. We would have never made it. The rocket technology was all theirs.
scientists
So
are scientists, and I respect what they do.
right.
Now, their beliefs, everyone has different beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
They can have their own beliefs. I may not believe it, but I
Yep.
just
But
don't want people to hurt people. That's it.
right, exactly. But yeah, in this story, they Gregory Peck was in the movie later in life. He
Who's that
was
again?
one of you
I'll
know
look
who
him up.
Gregory Peck
I know
is.
the name. I just can't picture his face. I'll look it up really quick.
Well, I guess he's best known for To Kill a Mockingbird. If you remember that movie from the black and white days, it's a classic.
Yes.
Oh,
He's the
Now that you
lawyer in
said
it.
that.
the one they can't show in schools anymore.
Yeah, the one they
Are you
can't show in
serious?
schools anymore. Yeah, well, of course not.
No,
Oh
It's
my
a
gosh!
it's
That's
racist. So
well, it's an African American on trial in the South. Yeah, of course they can't show that anymore. Yeah.
since when? Because I stopped teaching 2017, and then I briefly in 2019, but it was pre-K.
I don't know.
I
don't
wonder,
know.
but I was
5
also
years ago.
I was working with children with special needs and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
but I did not know that. How can you?
Yeah.
That book is like
It's a classic, but yeah,
that was required reading.
But anyway, go ahead.
Once you wrap up this thought, I have another thought for you guys.
Okay. Well, just to tell you what that movie's about, another alternate history. Like I said, they try and recreate it by, that they wasn't one of his parents. He was raised by his mom or his dad. One of them dies, so they make sure that at the same point that it happened to Hitler, that one of their parents dies. I mean, it's crazy. That the story is nuts, but they're basically trying to put, the nature and nurture thing. They're trying to make sure that the clones go through the same thing that Adolf Hitler went through to try and recreate the Führer. Yeah. It's a crazy ass movie, man. It's
very
called
like
The Boys,
that sounds Brave New
Boys from
World-ish.
Brazil. Yeah, it
a little
does,
bit.
doesn't it?
Mhm.
Okay, Knock, go.
So I have a question for you guys, all right? Because we were talking about the scientist thing and the immoral acts of World War II and all that good stuff, the Nazi doctors. So that brought up a movie in my mind. How about The Island? I believe it's called The Island with Ian McGregor.
Oh yeah,
and
I know it well.
Was it Scarlett Johansson? I think it was.
Scarlett Johansson. The whole reason why I love watching that movie.
So what they did was they created clones of the people, of very rich people that could pay for it. They made a clone of them, and they harvested their organs when they needed them. Right. So, what do you guys think about creating clones for you?
I'm going to be talking about this tomorrow night with my brother. One of the articles I have to cover tomorrow night. You'll hear all my thoughts on it, but I'll be glad to talk about it now if you'd like. I think cloning human beings should not be done ever, ever, for any reason.
If I was passing and they cloned me, I mean, I wouldn't mind because I'm hilarious and all. I'm just kidding.
Well, the whole purpose of it is for you to have a replaceable, as in their parts are for you to harvest out of them. If you have any kind of bad part, then you take it out of them and give it to you. It's an insurance policy for rich people. At least that's how it is in the movie.
Yeah,
I want to see that movie.
They pay a ton of movies.
It's called The Island.
Ian McGregor's character.
I remember.
The Ian McGregor character finds out what he is. Like, they think they're in like a deep underground facility, saving humanity. It's a story
no, let's get that right now. They think that they're in a post-apocalyptic world.
Well, I wasn't there yet, Bri.
Well,
don't no spoilers though, because
no spoilers. Don't tell her now. Okay.
All right. It's only been out for 15 years, but okay.
It came out like when I was in my I was. I don't know. That was like mid 2000s.
Darth Vader is somebody's dad, but.
But yeah, it's a good movie. You should watch it.
It is. You'd
enjoy
it. I think I do need to go back to rewatching it because it is.
You do, and think about the reaction of the clones. in that movie.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, no, it's a very interesting thing to think, because I think they were presenting to the public or whatever that they were just these bubble masses of organic tissue or whatever.
Yep.
But in reality, they were faking it the whole time.
Right. Yeah.
And
you'd have to see it.
You can tell that
it's
from the very
really
beginning
good.
of the movie. You can tell that they're not telling the truth about that. But
No, for sure.
Cloning could be a good thing, but also a very tragic, like horrific, scary, bad
It was
thing.
Michael Bay. Yeah, I forgot about that. Vince Womack.
Yeah, it was Michael Bay. Yes, it was.
Yep. Before he got all, robots and everything. Or was that around the same time? Something like that.
Yeah. Well, you can say what you want about Michael Bay, guys. I enjoy his movie making. He blows up a lot of stuff.
Robots change around. I don't know. Yeah. I find it very satisfying to see a truck.
Not all of those movies are good. I like the original, and I liked the third one. It was almost 3 hours long. The one where Detroit got taken over. God, what was the name of that one?
I just remember like something night.
Was it Dark Side of the Moon? I think it was. Sure. I think it was Dark Side of the Moon.
I haven't watched those ones in so long.
I just think Pink Floyd when you say that.
Revenge of the Fallen sucked. That I hated that movie. It was so.
I did
stupid.
like the one scene with the Linkin Park when they were driving through the city after the aftermath of all that war, and they had that Linkin Park song going on while they were driving through the city. That was my favorite scene of the whole series.
I'm pretty sure that is Dark Side of the Moon, the third one, right?
I like Small Wonder.
But the one with King Arthur was just dumb. Let's see, Vince, because I stopped at the second one. You need to see the third one, Vince. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Is that the King Arthur with the dude from Sons of
That's
Anarchy?
The fourth one. That thing. Well, no, actually, the fifth one. Yeah, that was horrible. God almighty.
The King Arthur one.
Yes,
they have like magic powers and stuff.
Dumb.
I'm not a fan of the magic power King Arthur stories. The storyline.
Nah. There's only one King Arthur. Well, there's only two good King Arthur movies. Okay. Excalibur is the measuring stick. Okay. Excalibur from 1983 or 1982, I think. It stands up today. It's still one of the greatest movies ever. It's the best one ever. Let's see. 5, he says. He's shocked they've made 5 of them. He says, holy
Mark
crap.
Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg joined the cast.
Mark Wahlberg's been in 2 of them.
He was in the last 2. Yeah, he was in the last 2.
But the only other one I consider being even decent is it's one of those things. What if a myth looked? What would it look like if it was real? The one with the guy that should have played King Arthur. What is the name of that show? It's called King Arthur, and it has that
it's the
cast.
Guy from is it the guy from Children?
Yes. Children of Men, yes.
Children of Men. I love that movie, by the way.
Yeah, it is fantastic. It's one of the best post-apocalyptic movies ever.
I know what you're talking about. That King Arthur movie, I really like that one too.
Yes, it's extremely good. It's got it's got a really good cast in it when nobody knew who they were either.
Clive Owen. Yeah, Vince
Clive Owen played Arthur, and who else is in that thing?
I don't remember the other actors.
The guy that played Lancelot was the guy that played Mr. Fantastic in the first Fantastic Four movies, and he was in Titanic. Ian Grufford. Let's see who else. Oh yeah, Keira Knightley played Guinevere in it. Yeah. Oh my God, she's gorgeous. Mads Mikkelsen played Tristan in it. Yeah, they had some really.
Was that
good
one of her
actors
first big movies? That's what got her into Pirates of the Caribbean. Was
she? Yeah,
or was that right after Pirates of the Caribbean?
I think she made that before Pirates. Yeah. Pirates was her big deal, but he's saying Clive Owen, Keira Knightley.
Children of Men was a really good movie.
I still have, still have to convince myself to watch Bumblebee. Bumblebee's okay. It's okay.
At this point, you just call it a Transformer movie.
That's it.
They've all just kind of become the same thing.
He was a Volkswagen in it.
Yeah, that's right.
He was actually a Volkswagen in it, so But
what is Bumblebee?
Bumblebee is a Transformer. He's probably the most popular Transformer besides Optimus Prime. Probably, I would say.
I used to play with the Transformers toys all the time as a kid.
Yeah, my kids my kids destroyed mine.
Well, the
I had a bunch
movies, the
of them.
movies really made Bumblebee like a fan favorite.
Yep. For
I only
sure.
saw the one Transformers movie, so
Well, the animated one or the one that Michael Bay made?
the animated one with the good soundtrack.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That
if you
soundtrack
watch
is
the actual
awesome.
movie or the new movies, anyways, the
yeah,
real life movies or whatever you want to call them, then yeah,
yeah. The live action movies.
Bumblebee
Bumblebee.
becomes the car of the main character, Sam
Yeah.
Witwer,
Mm-hmm.
Shia LaBeouf.
Let's see. Vince says in Bumblebee, they at least looked like their '80s counterparts. Yes,
Yeah, it was a
yes,
prequel.
they do.
It was a
Yes,
prequel.
they do. That they actually do look like them. Yeah, they do. Um, I used to run home from college to watch Transformers, man. You know, it came out. I think last year I was in the army, and I used to run home to see that show. Let's see. Never liked Bumblebee. Was more a Decepticon kid. Yeah, I liked them all. I thought they were cool. But my kids destroyed those toys. Oh my god. Yeah, they did.
My mom's a hoarder, so she probably has everything that we had as kids. They're probably just like not in good shape because they're like shoved in a room or something.
I know if I could have if my mother had not sold off my Star Wars toys, they'd probably be worth
What?
money now. Oh yeah, yeah. Well,
Oh,
she did it when I was in the army. She sold them at a garage sale. Yeah, they'd be worth money now. I had
yeah, they
every action
would.
figure, all the play sets. But now I did myself. I didn't know how much these were going to be worth, but I blew up my Millennium Falcon with M80s. So,
Well, yeah. I mean, we actually played with toys
yeah,
when we were
right.
younger. We didn't know to save them,
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, we actually took them out of the packages. They weren't just
Yeah.
for hanging on the wall. Yeah. But
What do
anyway,
you do with this? You look at
right?
it.
You're not allowed
So,
to open it. Yeah, right.
but the last thing I wanted to talk about tonight before we get out of here is the Iron Age, the dawn of the Iron Age. That's what my man Razor Fist has called it. And what we're talking about here is alternate. I guess you'd call it alternative pop culture. Um, People doing their own books, novels, people that are fans of this stuff. Uh, you know, uh, I guess the guy that's really shined a light on it here recently is Young Ripa, Eric July, the guy that made his own comic book. It's called Isom. I got mine the other day. Let me see. I think it's somewhere close here. Let's see where it's at. Hang on. Looks like I put it in the other room, but he's doing a great job. Let me see if I can find that. I had the
What he
tweet up.
did blows my mind.
It's nuts,
so
man.
impressive. Like,
and he hung it out there, man. He put $200,000 of his own money out there to build his own infrastructure and everything.
He made it happen. It's like, first of all, I used to know him from like music and stuff like that, like his YouTube channel. That was like how I knew him, and I just thought he was cool, like a cool person. When I found out that was happening, I was like, oh my! And what happened? You know what I mean? Like how it blew up. I was like, yes, like he deserves everything. Like,
yes, he does
for what he put into that.
You mentioned the music. I believe that's how he made most of his money.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't know that about him.
Yeah, didn't he do some kind of rock rap type thing?
It was definitely like a more like, it was harder. You know what I mean? Like a harder like I can't remember. I would have to go look at the name of what his with what the one band that he had a lot of stuff on his channel at one point. My memory is very I get brain fog from my medications. So don't judge me for that.
No problem.
But on your alternative pop culture thing, or people doing their own thing,
right.
I right now I can't afford it, but for a while there I do support indie comics 100%, and I have a lot of indie comics here from YouTube creators.
Yeah. I always tell people, Ripa has really shined a light on it, and this is a tweet of somebody that got their stuff in the mail. Got my Isom comic in the mail, got covers A and B, and an A signed copy of cover B. Uh, New original comic, completely independent from any mainstream publisher. And if you just punch
Ripaverse.
in, Ripaverse, and you're going to find all these tweets. And what's funny is a lot of people are saying, "Hey, I got my fake comic book today," because when he first did this, the mainstream comic book industry was blasting him, saying it's all a grift and stuff. And now that they're getting them, all of a sudden, crickets. We're not hearing anything for those people at all now. But yeah, he's shined a light on it. But guys like Ethan Van Shriver, Mandy Summers, there's a whole host of people that have been a lot of Indiegogo and Kickstarter campaigns doing their own stuff.
That's where I get a lot of. There's a lot of extremely talented artists in that whole
Yes,
if you want to say CG or there's all different whatever, but there are some extremely talented artists, and I like the indie comics because they're not necessarily all like the superhero. Like, I was never huge into like all the Marvel DC stuff. When I read comics as a kid, I read like oh my gosh, like Betty and Veronica, Archie comics, like stuff like that.
Right.
That was more my thing. But just some of the art that they're doing it shows so much emotion. It's like it's really, it's not mainstream. I think that's why I like it. It's very it's cool. So I'm a huge supporter of that.
I tell you, you need to check out Mandy Summers.
I know. I watched. I watch all these people on YouTube. I know everyone you're talking about. So
right. Yeah, she just did the Jack the Ripper. I think the second book, or it might be her first one. I'm not sure. She's in collaboration with somebody on that Jack the Ripper book, but it looks pretty cool. It really does.
Is it Dale? It might not be.
Let me see.
Dale Keown, or no?
I'm not sure. Let's pull it up on Indiegogo and find
one
out.
of my favorites, and I did back it. I don't know when it's coming out yet because he's still working on it, but I watch him all the time. Is Shanth Anjeti, I think is how you say his name. He said this all online, so I'm not like doxing him. He was a professor at RISD, which is a very respected like art college, and he does these streams where they're drawing streams, but he almost teaches like techniques and stuff like that, which I'm more of a musician and a writer. I'm not a very good artist, but he is just the way he streams. He's so interesting, and he has Atmosfere coming out, which I am looking forward to. The artwork looks amazing.
Okay, let's see. Here it is right here. Here it is right here. Hang on. Let me pull this up. All right. Jack the Ripper Vampire Hunter is the name of it. It says here, the Highgate Vampire has unleashed hell on earth, and only one person can stop it. Mandy Summers. That's the name and song.
Yeah, if you scroll down, it'll say who else worked on it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Let's see. This is campaign to fund Jack the Ripper. 60-page graphic novel by Mandy Summers and Peter Gilmore. Yeah. I mean, the art looks freaking amazing.
Yeah,
man.
That's right up my alley. That type of art is.
That's what I thought. That's why I was telling you about it. Yeah, that is badass looking right there. Vampire Hunter. Wow. Cover B. Whoa, man. Check that out. That is cool. Cover C. Wow. So go check that out on Indiegogo. I don't know how long.
She cracks me up too. She's fun to watch.
Oh yeah, she is. She's crazy, man.
I know. I'm crazy too, so I like her.
She loves to have her cocktails when she's doing a stream. That's for sure.
Funny thing is, I haven't had a drink in 5.5 years now, and I'm crazier without drinking, believe it or not.
I hear you. I started back up a few. We bought a bar last year for Christmas for ourselves for the house because I was a bartender for 18 years.
Me too. I was always a bartender as my side job. Always.
Really?
It's good money. Yeah, I always bartended as a side job. Even when I worked in financial institutions, always at night.
it was my career when I was a nightclub bartender.
So this town
three
that I
deep
live,
on a Saturday night.
Mhm.
That kind of thing. Yeah,
I've
Yep.
been to a bar.
I know you have, buddy.
The
That's all
town I live in
that's all I
now
got.
relies on that because it's tourist. It's a tourist town, so we have a
Mhm.
lot of career bartenders here because you make the most money. That's
Well, I
like
imagine.
they make more money than the teachers here. I mean, it's like it's crazy.
Is
But
it?
yeah, I always
Is it?
even here when I was
Is it?
sober, I bartended Saturday night at a place because the money was good.
Yeah, you can make a ton of bread doing it. I made enough back in the late '80s to put down $5,000 cash for a house.
Yeah, in the early
You know.
2000s, I had
Mhm.
I ran a night, but I bartended it also. I ran a music night. But bartending, it was a Monday night, and I could easily make $400 tips.
Yeah. Well, you would always make more than me because you have the correct equipment. See,
Yeah.
I have to hustle a little bit to make my money, but
I will say that is true,
that is true. Well,
and I
we
used
know
it
it.
to my
We know it.
advantage because
And
that's
and
what you
look,
do when you're a
it,
bartender.
I have no problem with it. You can go for it. But
Got to do what you got to do.
that's right. That's right. That's also why I have two ex-wives. No matter how faithful you are, they think you're messing around. So, I mean, it's just the environment. What you gonna do?
There's male bartenders too, though. Like I feel like male bartenders are long lasting. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because like I have a best friend.
18 years.
Yeah, one
it.
of my best friends in
Mhm.
Philly is 50. He just turned 52. He's still a bartender, and guess what?
Whoa.
People
Oh,
love him. People love him. Like he is just the best. So that's what he
I
does.
had to get out of it when I was in my late 30s because well, first of all, I got tired of dealing with drunks every night. I'll never forget. I'll tell you right now, quick story, guys. I know exactly when.
All right, I gotta hop off here.
Gotta
I'm
go?
gonna stay on. Yeah, I'm gonna stay on to watch it, but I gotta jump off here.
All right, Knock, you take care of yourself. Thanks for coming,
Bye,
buddy.
Knock.
It's good to
Yeah.
see you.
Nice
I will
meeting
see
you.
you Sunday for the pregame party.
Yeah, of course.
All right.
All right.
Take it
Thanks
easy.
for
Go
brother.
Eagles. Sorry. I just had to say.
Go Broncos.
Oh man, but yeah, I know the exact second I realized I had to get out of the business. I'm sitting here, and I had just gotten married a few months before. It's a Saturday night. My wife, God love her, come up to spend time with me, and on a busy Saturday night, like I said, 3 deep. I've got 10 glasses set up on the mat with ice in it to keep so I can keep rolling, and I'm moving as fast as I can. She's parked right next to my register. I go and deliver a couple of drinks. I get the money. I go to make change, and I see this look on her face like, she's looking at the guy next to her. And I said, "What's wrong?" I leaned over and I said, "What's wrong?" She goes, "This guy," and he was right on the other side of my register. He said, "He keeps staring at me." I said, "Oh, okay. All right." And I said, "Hey, man." And he didn't hear me, right? I said, "Hey, man." Grab his shirt, pull at him, and if he was 20 years old, he was a day. I don't know why they let this guy in the club. At that time, now, my state, Louisiana, was the last state that changed it from 18 to 21-year-old drinking. And they'd already done this at this time. And I'm sitting there, I look at him, I said, "Look, that's my wife, and you're freaking her out staring at her. Just stop staring at her, okay? That's all I'm asking." And he was just out of it. And I hadn't served him anything. He had just shown up, And so I tell him that, go back to what I'm doing, right? I make another couple drinks, come back, go to make change. I look, not only is he staring at her now he's doing this.
Oh man. See, that's where you cut him off and you go get the bouncer if you had one.
No. The Irish Indian, being 37 years old at the time. Now, if it was my 20s, I'd have laughed at him. I'd have laughed at him and said, "Man, you got no chance with that. What are you doing?" Right? But I just, out of nowhere, I just took my open hand and went with everything I had right across the bridge of his nose, man.
Yeah,
just
protection.
smacked the shit out of him. And I guess that's what it was. But I smacked the holy hell out of him. I said, "Didn't you just?" I was using really bad language, but I said, "Didn't you just hear what I effing said, you stupid mf'er?" I was just going off, and God love him. The guy at the front door, his name is Amable. I'll never forget him. He worked the front door, and I was working in the front of the club. It was like an island bar with 3 stations on it, and all 3 of them are being used. But I was the one closer to the dance floor, away from him. But he saw it. He must have been looking right in my direction at the time, because I was yelling at this guy, and he all of a sudden just appears right behind my wife and goes, "Is everything okay, Joe?" And this guy is from Rwanda. Okay. And he had shown me before. He was in our country friggin' going to school, and he was trying to become a citizen, you know, and he's one of these guys that was in the royal family there, was carrying an AK when he was 12. He's one of the guys that has seen hell and knows every day the rest of his life is gravy. He always had that attitude, you know. He was always an uplifting guy. And he's like, "Everything okay, Joe?" And I said, "Yeah, everything's fine, but this MFer needs to find another place to drink." He said, "Okay." And he grabbed him and he opened the front door with his head. And he comes back, and I said, "That's not what I meant, Amable, but you know," and he goes, No. I was at your wedding. Nobody's going to mess with your wife. Don't worry about that.
That was what he needed to do, in my opinion.
Cool.
That's what he needed to do.
I said, "You're the security guy," you know. But that moment right there, I knew I had to start looking for something else, because you can't go whacking people around no matter what they do. You're in public, you know. But you know, the bar scene's a little different. It's like when I actually did get a real job, a lot of guys didn't think I was going to make it in a real job, you know, because it's kind of, you know how it is in a bar. It's sometimes it's Western justice. You know what I mean? Let's see.
I always, since I was a female, like I had the person that worked the door, but I had bands. I booked bands. Like I ran this whole, it was like a punk, basically independent band like night, but it was a punk rock weekly night. And so I had bands, and my boyfriend at the time was the DJ with vinyl, by the way, but not electronic stuff. He did like rock and roll, like stuff like that. Yeah. And I had a door guy. We were upstairs, but downstairs was a sports bar. But I had my patrons. Like they were like protective of me. Like seriously, like they were, if anyone was messing with me as a bartender, they would basically like make sure they were gone. So as a girl, it's a little bit different. But yeah, you did that out of protection, 100%. That was not because the guy was annoying you. That was because of your wife. And that, I respect that.
Yeah. But that's what told me, hey, I need to get out. Vince says, how many became a bartender because of cocktail? Oh my God, Tom Cruise. Okay.
Cognitive law.
Look, guys. First of all, and Courtney will back me up on this, there's only 2 real parts in that movie. The first one, his first night bartender, when he's wringing his socks out at the end of the night, and he gets mad at the waitress for calling a rum and coke or Cuba Libre, right? That's completely real. If you've never done it before, it ends up like that every time. You know, if you've never done it before, you end up messing everything up. But the other part that's real is the resort bartending. They pull down serious money down there in South America at these resorts and stuff. But the rest of it, look, the 2 bartenders in a bar that's catering to 1,000 people, and they're up there spouting poetry, people would be throwing shit at them.
Yeah.
Get me a drink, motherfucker. I don't care what you got to say.
I'm not a Tom Cruise fan anyway. But when you end this, I'll tell you something just backstage really quick. I just can't say it. I don't want to.
No problem. But to answer your question,
a pilot because of Tom Cruise.
I was a bartender way before Cruise, and I look, a bunch of us bartenders that worked at a place called Cowboys here in North Louisiana went and saw that movie together, and we just laughed our ass off through the whole fucking movie because what 60% of it is horseshit. You know, so yeah.
You know how I became a bartender? You'll laugh. I had created. My ex was part of it. Not my ex-husband. This is back in the early 2000s. Yeah. But we came to this bar that was on South Street because they had an upstairs that they barely used, and they needed Monday nights. They didn't do anything, and so we came to them with an idea of booking bands. Booking punk bands. And so it started as that. And then he would, the owner actually was bartending most of the time. But he came up to me and he said, do you know how, or he said, do you want to bartend? And I said, I've never been a bartender. He said, I know, but I know you know enough about drinks because I drank a lot. But also,
you know what goes in them.
I'm not a dummy. And it was a very simple bar. They did $1 tall can PBRs, $3 Long Islands. Most people got that, you know? So that he basically, and he was like, you're the one bringing people even in here on a Monday. You can make tons of money. He put me behind the bar, and that was it. The rest is history.
He saw an opportunity to get people staying in his business. Yeah.
And I also became a little more of a excuse my language, but a bitch that by bartending, because people that came up to me, because we ended up with very successful with a lot of people there. And if someone came up to me and said, I want like an oatmeal cookie shot, I would just be like, no. Because
really,
I'm you know, I'm like I can't think of the word right, flinging like all these, you know what I mean, all these things, and I've got a packed bar, and it was like, I can give you this. We've got a Jaeger machine. I've got this, but it was more.
You're doing volume. You're not going to slow yourself down, right?
Yeah,
is that what you're saying? Yeah,
yeah. And it was usually people that weren't regulars there, and you know that was mean of me. I understand that now, but yeah, I used to just say no. What else do you want?
You go get it from one of these other guys that aren't as busy as I am. Yeah,
I can make you a Long Island in a second because I knew that I had the two in each hand, you know, like pour and then the sour and the Coke, and you're good. But
I still remember my first $100 tipper, man. That was I'll never forget that night. I worked at the place that I was trained to be a bartender and worked at was one of the best nightclubs the country has ever seen. By the way, Ron says, how many became a pilot because of Tom Cruise? Yeah, Tom Cruise has been an influential dude. I'm sure a lot of people.
That's one movie that I don't hate him. No, I don't hate. Sorry, just that I don't dislike him in.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean,
and Rain Man also. I think he played that part amazingly.
He's fantastic in Rain Man. Absolutely. Yes. Oh, God, I lost my train of thought. What was I talking
you were
about?
saying you worked in a night.
Oh, no, the $100 tip. Yeah.
$100 tip, yeah.
I was working upstairs, and the place we worked at, it was in the northwestern corner of Louisiana, where I live now. It's in Bossier City. It was a place called Cowboys, and the guy that owned it was a district manager for like Pizza Hut, and he got a bunch of at the height of the urban cowboy days in '81 when Travolta was in that movie.
I love that movie.
That's when he got a bunch of investors together and said, hey, I want to open a nightclub. And I think it cost him $1 million in '81. And he paid all the investors back in a year and owned it outright.
Tell me he had an electronic bull.
He did not.
I feel like that would be so cool.
But I mean, this guy was really good. He believed in service. I mean, he was the guy that taught us, look, if there's 2 butts in an ashtray, you better clean it out. Don't let them pile up. You keep it clean.
Like having a bar back because they got in my way. I was way quicker doing my own thing.
Yeah. I did it both ways. I started as a bar back, and then I became a bartender. We tipped them like, we were required to give them 10%, but if they were really good, we gave them 20. And but when I worked with a buddy of mine that I'm still friends with to this day, on the far side of the house, we told them, look, we don't need a bar back. We'll stock it good enough ourselves, you know. And but anyway, I was working upstairs. This place, to make a long story short, this place had people coming from Southern Arkansas, East Texas, Southeastern Oklahoma. It was the big thing in the 4-state area right here.
Wow.
And it was packed every Friday and Saturday night. Well, we had solid business Tuesday through Saturday because it was 18-year-old drinking back then. And we had the college crowd coming in during the week. It was crazy. But anyway, I'm sitting there on a Saturday night and I'm working a bar that's made for 3 people upstairs by the pool room upstairs of this place. And the person that was supposed to work with me called in. A couple of people called in. So there was only 2 people. There was only 2 people working it, and the guy that they brought in to help me out, nobody knew him. It was like the second time he'd ever worked there. He was one of their break glass in case of emergency guys, right?
He probably was in your way.
So no, it wasn't that. We had plenty of room in this bar, but the thing is, nobody went to him. They all knew me, and I was just getting hammered.
People see that. People see you're working your butt off.
So I'm running my ass off, and I see this guy. And like I said, it's an island bar, right? So there's a doorway to the ice machine on the side, and you have to go through the crowd to get to it. Not very far, about the length of this room, but you had to go through the crowd to get to it. And that's always open. And he was standing there. This guy had started coming to see me that week, and he worked for the railroad. And on Wednesday night during ladies' night, he'd tip me $40 altogether. And on Friday night, he'd tip me like 60. He was dropping 20s in my jar when he'd come get I'll never forget it. He drank a Absolute and grapefruit. Or no, nice. Tanqueray and grapefruit is what he was drinking.
I remember when people drank too. That's so funny. From years ago.
I remember when people drank before I remember the name from back then. Really. But he drank Tanqueray and grapefruit. And I saw him. I stopped what I was doing. Went and made the drink because I knew what he wanted, and I took it back to him, and he hands me a C note. And I said, man, I'm sorry if you're having to wait. Here's your drink. And I got the change, and I went to give it back to him, and it was like $3.25. And he says, don't worry about it, man. Just make sure I don't have to wait again. I've been waiting here about 5 minutes. And I just stopped what I was doing because I was flustered. Because I was running my ass off, I'm telling you, for a good hour straight. We opened up the bar at around 9. This happened about 10:30. And we had a cowbell we kept behind the bar to ring when we got a big tip, right? And I didn't even ring it. I just said, ho, ho, ho. And my bar back was there. Good friend of me to this day. He lives in Dallas. His name is Tommy. And Brad was the other guy, and he's good friends with me too. But I looked at them both. I said, ho, 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 everybody stop what you're doing. This guy just tipped us $100. I said, if he waits for another drink tonight, I'm going to kill the both of you two. And I started ringing that bell, and everybody just started hooting and hollering. And I was totally relaxed the rest of the night. I didn't run for nothing. I made everybody wait. It was hilarious, and it was great. I had a ball, because I knew I just paid my bill for the night. You know what I mean? So you never forget that. When you get a tip like that, you never forget it.
I don't think I've ever been handed 100.
Really? Oh yeah.
But I always $20, like no matter what, like from lots of people, just aside from I'd give them change and then they just throw 20s down.
Yeah.
So that I was used to, but I don't think I've ever been handed a. Nope, that's what I actually here in this town. Saturday night at this one, I only bartended in this town at one place. Because all my other bartending was back east.
Yeah.
That did happen. It was a credit card tip though. See, nowadays it's different. When people run tabs, we didn't run tabs back in the day. People tipped we did not. People tipped every drink. So that added up. And when we had like dollar PBRs, people would just throw me a $5 and say, keep it. You know what I mean? I got lots of money because of that. But here people run tabs, and a lot of times, like I would comp people drinks, if they're like regular stuff like that, because that's like what we did back in the day, and people would still see the bill and just tip 20%. Yeah, that's not how a bartender. Well, that's not how I used to rely, on money from bartending.
Well, this as well as I do. You've always got to give them the opportunity to tip. Like for instance, if somebody's paying $4.25 for something, right, with a 20. Well, you got the 75 cents, makes it a $5, right? Yep. But then you gave them 5 ones. Yeah. And you gave them 2 5s. You gave them the opportunity to give you some of that money, right? If you handed them a 5 and a 10, you're probably might get the
people that do that don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to get tips. But when people
there's little tricks you learn,
it's a little different because a lot of people would pay with a card and it was just different. But
we didn't run that many tabs, but you had to have a credit card to do it.
No doubt. We didn't take credit cards.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the place I did did.
They did downstairs. It was a sports bar downstairs, but upstairs
there was 5 bars in the first place I worked at. It held 1,000 people at max, and that's what I'm saying. That cocktail shit was stupid. I was like, what in the hell? These guys are spouting poetry and just walking around like it's a friggin'. I'm like, come on, that guy would get booed out of the friggin' bar. But we had 5 bars. Let's see, 2 of them had 3 stations, and 3 of them had 2 stations. And it was a fun time, man. I worked at Cowboys from 87 to 93. Worked at a place called Denim and Diamonds, which is part of the Graham Brothers Corporation. They got them all over the South East. Different things like Rock and Rodeo, Graham Central Station, that kind of thing. Anyway, Denim and Diamonds is one of their bar chains, and I worked for them. I actually got stupid and stepped out behind the bar and became an assistant manager. And that's when I found out only the bartenders and the owner make any money in a bar. I went from making $1,000 a week in tips, and this is in 1993 when that was a lot of money, to making $258 after taxes and having to live at that place. I lasted 5 months doing it. I was like, no, I got to get back behind the bar. And then I worked for a place called the Malibu Beach Club for about 8 years. And I mean, I just went where the crowd went. You know as well as I do that clubs don't stay open forever. You know,
the original club that I started at got shut down. Mm-hmm. And then, but my night had built up by then. Like, it was called Down in Flames Punk Night.
Right.
We actually, the person that drew the the poster or whatever, it's like a flyer kind of thing, but it's like done as poster art. You know, it looks like kind of the old rock posters that you.
I used to draw lobby cards for Cowboys. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, the person, his name's Dave Glass, memorialized basically my punk night because it made it into a book called The Art of Modern Rock, and it's in there with like Grateful Dead like art posters and stuff like that.
Cool.
It's so cool.
The Art of Modern Rock.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just a little like, so there's different sections of the book. It's a big, huge coffee table book. It's out of print, but it was like an $80 book when it came out. So there's like an area for more like, I guess, indie kind of things or whatever, indie artists. I don't even know how they categorize it, but it's not like a half page or anything, you know, it's a little thing in there, but it's in there. And it's like, wow, I have the book. It's back east with all my stuff that I have to still.
That's cool. Move, I tell you, man, what I used to do, and I've been blessed to be around some really amazing people. The guy that was the first general manager I worked for at Cowboys, and this is before I was even a bartender. He found out I was an artist, and he said, well, I'd like you to do the lobby cards for me. And he showed me, and the first one I did, he just tore it apart. He said, look, you've got to be better with the script and blah, 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 blah. And he'd show me how to do it and all this stuff. And what I ended up doing was, because I'm a portrait artist, that's a big thing I do. If you go by the website, you'll see some of the portraits I've done. Not many right now. I'm still working on it. It's a fledgling website.
I have to go by your website because I know we talked about this before, the portrait thing.
Yeah. But anyway, what I did was, if it was somebody I liked, what I would do is I'd draw their portrait on the lobby card. I would do it, you know, and the general manager at the end of the night would take it backstage and get it signed for me. My father has all of these because he's a big autograph collector, and I sent them all to him. And but I've gotten David Lee Roth's signature that way, Peter Frampton, Joan Jett.
My favorite. She's like I love. She's one of my favorites.
She's your spirit animal? Yeah.
No, my spirit animal is actually Wednesday Addams.
There you go. There you go. Very cool. That sounds about right. But my favorite one I ever did, though, was for a comedian that showed up in 1991, I believe it was, St. Patrick's Day show. It was Sam Kinison. He's still my favorite. He's still my favorite comedian to this day.
Say it. From Back to School.
Yes, that's him. That's him. And God love him, he died 2 weeks later on his way from Vegas to Reno. Now this guy had cleaned up his act, wasn't doing drugs anymore, wasn't drinking, and got hit by a drunk driver on a 2-lane road crossing the center
Isn't
line.
it
It's just,
amazing? Like, not
yeah,
amazing in a
it's
good way. It's, you know what I mean? Like, it's just
yeah,
how things
it's just
happen. It's
weird
just,
how things happen
yeah.
like that. But he's still my favorite comedian to this day. I love him.
loved him. I knew
And
instantly. I was like, from back to school, they used to teach her excited.
yeah, yeah. But were you on 70s thing
Yeah.
about the album rock show? Were you on that one?
Yes.
Okay.
I've been on every music one of his, I believe,
Okay.
except for there might have been one I had treatment that I had to go to,
Yeah.
a health thing.
The reason why I asked is I told the story about the night I saw Mick Jones at the Foreigner.
Yeah.
At
And I
Cowboys.
said not
Yeah.
to be confused. I said not to be confused with Mick Jones from The Clash.
Right.
Is what I said.
Exactly. Yeah, I do
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah, I just couldn't remember. It's been a minute. I couldn't remember if you were there or not. But yeah,
We lose our memories too. For sure.
I saw some of the greatest bands, man. I mean, both old timers like Foreigner and Steppenwolf, and several bands came through Cowboys. And young guys like Kuiper. Kuiper used to play the guy that did Tic Tac Toe. I don't know if you know that any pop music at all, but that guy, he was a mainstay on Thanksgivings. He used to come see us on Thanksgiving. Let's see.
I
Vince,
was also very lucky. Oh, go on.
Vince says, "Is that the guy who has the cab driver? Was the cab driver from Scrooge?" No, sir, that is not him. The cab driver from Scrooge. Oh God! Don't get me to friggin' lying. I'll have to look it up because I don't want to say the guy's name wrong. But yeah, he
is it Bobcat Goldthwait?
No, he's in that movie. He's talking about the cab driver. He was a musician. Yes. I'll look it up real quick. But saw some great bands and saw bands that were up and coming that nobody knew yet, like Avenged Sevenfold and Creed. I saw Creed before they were anything.
Avenged Sevenfold I've met personally because they opened up for my friend's band, and I almost had them booked at my little club. But they ended up opening up for a punk band called The Unseen at the TLA. I've met all those guys. They were not big yet. They're huge now.
Yeah.
I have a lot of like the Dropkick Murphys are another one.
The Dropkick Murphys. Oh my God, I'm so jealous.
I saw their first show. They were playing a show with my ex's band. I was in college at Berkeley. They played at the Ratskeller, the Rat, also known as, in Kenmore Square. And James Lynch, that's their guitarist, was married to one of my girlfriends. Like I remember when Al Barr, who used to play in the Bruisers, which was like a more oi band, became their singer. I know. Man. So there's a lot of bands like that I knew, especially living in Boston and going to college for music, that I got to. But I was very lucky from a young age to see shows. I mean, my dad, first of all, my dad was a Deadhead. So I saw the Grateful Dead when I don't even remember, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I also, in the 90s, saw them with my dad. That was like a bonding thing for my dad because he was away for a little bit. And I saw, and I was ironically enough on Haight Street in San Francisco the day that Jerry Garcia died, and I asked people why they were crying in the hippie park on the left when you're walking up the road, the street, and they said Jerry's dead. And I remember going and getting I got all this change because it was payphone days.
Yeah.
And calling my dad, I remember it was $4.25 on the payphone.
Wow.
Just to tell my dad that. Because there wasn't everything didn't get it wasn't like you didn't get the breaking news like that. And I remember my dad was so
you had to reach out to people. Yeah.
But
no doubt.
but all the the Who, I don't remember seeing them, but my dad took me to a whole bunch, but I've seen a lot of bands that people I've basically seen. I've seen probably over, I would say, 1,000 or at least shows in my life.
Yeah. I've seen a bunch too, just being in the bars when they had them and stuff. But the guy you're thinking of, Vince, is a guy named David Johansen.
Oh, from New York Dolls.
Yes. He's the cab driver in Scrooged, and he's a very good musician. Yes.
Love him from New York Dolls, and then he did his solo stuff.
Yep. He's fantastic.
I got to meet them.
Really?
And yeah, my
Cool.
friend, they played at the Trocadero on my birth. It wasn't my. It was like the day after my birthday, but for my birthday, my friend hooked that up for me, and I could always kind of get backstage at places anyway because I booked bands and whatnot. But yeah, they ended up playing there, and it was a small venue, but they were doing like this is later, for them because it was reunion, I guess, because they weren't
Yeah.
together anymore.
Right.
But yeah, as soon as you said that, I'm like, New York Dolls.
Yes,
I love
that's it.
that's my era
There
of
you go.
music that I love. I mean, got into it later, obviously, but
Well, Courtney, we're gonna have to get into it next time because
I know. I'm sorry.
I have hit the two. No, it's fine. But
Thank you.
that's
I
the whole
feel
point of this.
better
Look,
physically from talking.
I come
Like,
in here. Listen, I come in here. I've got a few things just to kick around, but it's all about where we want to go with it, man. I'm here to talk to the chat and talk to my friends, and that's what this show's all about, But it is the 2 hour mark, and I got dinner coming, so I'm gonna have to cut it short for tonight. But we'll jump back on that subject. I will remember David Johansen's where we left off next time you're on.
oh, anytime. That's why I'm on 70s. Like anytime, I'll talk music. I can talk music for hours.
I know you can. Let's see.
Forever.
Vince Womack says, doesn't time fly? Yes, it does. When you have good company and good conversation, hell yeah, it does, man.
Thank you for hanging around, Vince.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and all the rest of you that came in tonight. But listen, anything you want to plug there, Courtney, before we get out of here?
Yeah. Okay. Sunday Night Geekery on Mark D with a C's channel. I'm a regular on there. I missed this past Sunday because I'm just having it's health stuff. I don't go into that too much. However, and I am almost always, if I can be, on that 70s rock. I always call him that 70s rock show. That 70s rock fan.
Yeah, I've cleared out my Monday nights just for him too, because he's been very supportive of me. So I want to be there for him. It was funny. Who was it the other day that said, oh yeah, it was Gary from Pop Culture Minefield. He goes, I think I'm going to be on that 70s rock fans channel this Monday. I was like, no, man, we're off. I said it to him in the chat. I said, no, we're off this week. It's every other week.
Yeah. And I probably, if I am feeling okay, will try and hop on this Monday with Imperatives and for the horror. What is it called again? I forget.
It's Hammer Horror.
Yeah, that's what it is. The Hammer
Horror Studios.
The older,
yep. That's what they're doing.
And then the only other thing that I would plug is right now it's currently just on pause, but my channel is still going to be a thing. So it was, if you, can I give you the link to drop?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'd be glad to drop it in there
quickly. It's right now I have my videos up so people can watch, but I do live streams late night. It's called Late Night Johns is what I call it. John, like it's a Philly word. Let me just grab my link. It's right here.
I could probably get it pretty quick myself.
And it will, here, I got it. Okay. It will be back. Right now it just says it's Courtney because it's easier in chats for me. But yeah, it was always, it's Courtney's Fellowship of Oddballs. I haven't decided. I think I'm going to bring back, add that back to my name. But for now, it's just easier. It's Courtney. But yeah, it's on pause, but I plan on being back sooner than later, hopefully by the end of October, because I want to maybe do something Halloween to kind of start things going.
Right. Okay, let me see if I can do this. This is the first time I'm ever doing it, so
just
give me a second.
Just copy it, and then
that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. Let's see if it works. Did it pop up in the chat? Let's see.
Oh, you could do it from here. I was doing on I always go to the YouTube side because I don't know how to work anything.
Well, I've had it since I've been manipulating this thing. Yeah, it's in there. Yep, that's it. That's her link, guys. I should have went ahead and put the explanation in here. Hang on, let's see.
The people here.
Courtney. It's Courtney. Now I'm doing it in the chat. It's Courtney.
Yeah, I lost some followers from. I had to take a break. It was just like I'll still go on other people's chats, but for me, I'm not a tech person, and so actually setting up the StreamYard, doing stuff like all of that took a lot. And even though there's not much of a plan to my shows, I do have certain things. It's like a variety show. Look at it that way, a late night variety show.
Right.
And I freestyle rap because I can't, but I'm becoming awesome at it. I have a puppet. We do funny things on there.
Okay. There it is. There it is.
Thank you.
Subscribe to It's Courtney. There you go.
Thank you.
Okay. So anybody that watches the replay, if you're watching the replay, subscribe to It's Courtney. Because I'm pretty sure everybody here already has. But anyway, let's see. Vince
I just want to tell
says,
you one thing backstage when you're done. Remember that.
okay, no problem. Not gonna make the pause joke. Yeah, I hear you, brother. Yeah, I'm a boomer. I admit it. Dude. If you watch Papa Joe Gamer up way too late, I
am
mess things up all the
horrible.
time. Look, I can't even put up the last hour from Monday night because I forgot to turn my microphone on for an hour. For an
Do you love
hour.
it when you're muted?
Oh my God. An hour's worth. Anyway. Okay, let's see what we got here, guys. Of course, don't forget tomorrow night it's the Brothers Hack the Matrix. Me and my brother are going to be on. We cover everything pop culture, sports, pretty much everything that's going on in the news today. It's a talk show born of conversations we had when he was trying to make it home in a major city in the U.S. He had a long commute, and he'd call his family to see what was going on to keep him from going crazy in his truck. So it's just me and him shooting the
Cool.
stuff about what's going on. We do it every Thursday at 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern. And then, of course, on Saturdays, you can see me as I try and throw my hat in the ring in the Iron Age of new stuff. Sketching the Privateer, me creating my comic book. We're almost done plotting issue 1. And my good buddy Justifier Jim, who actually is friends with Knock, the guy you met earlier. We all met playing
He's
a video
nice.
game together. Yeah, he is a real nice guy. And so is this dude, Justifier Jim. He's another creator, and he will be on to help. I took him on to host it because sometimes I get into the art so much that I forget to talk. And
Oh,
he's there to fill the dead space.
I've
But
been
he's a
that
great
person for
guy.
people. I
He's
understand.
yes, exactly. So that's every Saturday afternoon at 1:30 Central, 2:30 Eastern. And then, of course, we've got me and Knock doing the pregame party for the NFL
I'm gonna have to
game.
check that out because
Yeah, it's 10 o'clock in the morning Central and 11 o'clock Eastern. It's 2 hours before kickoff of the first games of the
Yeah.
day.
you're only an
And
hour.
if you
I'm Mountain Time, so
if you're tired of listening to the Communist News Network, I'm sorry, excuse me, ESPN, go ahead and tune into us because we're a couple of guys that just love the game, and you're going to get a college scouting report from Knock. He always tells us first what happened on that previous Saturday, and then we talk about the week that was and the week that will be in the NFL. So come see us. We go for about an hour and a half before kickoff.
I would love that
Yeah.
because I watch football alone now, and it's not the same.
No,
It's not the same. And I don't. So this and also getting. I'm not up to date with a lot of, especially college football stuff. So yeah,
Well,
that's awesome.
yeah,
I'm Penn
come watch
State
us,
with that,
man.
by the way. Nittany Lions.
What's that now? Nittany Lions?
I'm a Penn State fan.
Oh, girl, my nephew graduated from there.
Most of my family did.
Absolutely.
My parents, my brother. I have
his
a lot
mother's
of people.
from Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
yeah. My brother met his wife in the Air Force, and they were both in the Air Force. And then, of course, my only Twitch show I got going these days, Papa Joe Gamer up way too late. I get this used to be when I worked nights. It was a way for me to stay awake on my nights off. But now I've moved it up an hour to 11 o'clock Central, midnight Eastern. And I go for 3 hours. I change games every hour just to break it up a little bit because I do like several different kinds of games. And I always do a walkthrough of one game. And I've done a walkthrough of Beyond Two Souls, which I love. The last one I did was Injustice 2. I played through that one. Now I'm playing through on the Xbox 360. I'm playing through Fable 3, my favorite Fable game. So
I like to watch people play games, and I'm an all-nighter. Like I don't sleep at nighttime. I got on that schedule for other reasons, like hypervigilance, but that's a different thing. But yeah. I like late night stuff. So that's something good to know. You should tell me your Twitch. I don't know if I
Well, if you go to
Not
my
on there
website, there's links to it.
Okay, I'm going to put that.
That gives you a reason to go to my website.
Yes.
joesatmosphere.com. Same way I spell it on YouTube.
I forgot to mention just one last thing. Saturday
Go
night's
ahead.
the Cotton Council. I haven't been there because I need surgery on my hand, but my puppet Frankie is supposed to be on that show every week, and he will be back too. So
Okay. All right. What's that called again?
it's Snow Dub's channel, the Cotton Council. It's the puppet show that
Oh wow. Okay.
it's
Cool.
pretty cool. So
I've seen that guy on a couple of different stations.
yeah, he's got Jolly, and he's got a couple puppets that he uses, but yeah, there's a whole crew of us.
Oh, that's cool. That's good.
I just recently.
The Royal Fox is in here as the Scarlet Witch.
I was just gonna say her hair. I love it.
She had to dress up today for work. She works from home. The room right across from this one is an office that I did up for both of us, and then she ended up working for CenturyLink. She does customer service or Centerpoint. Did I say CenturyLink again? Why do I always want to do that? Centerpoint Energy. Anyway, she works right here at home, but she had to go into the office this week. They got different themes every day, and yesterday she had to wear pink. Today it was a cosplay thing. She dressed as a Scarlet Witch. She so
beautiful.
Let's see what we got here. Vince says, I find it funny that everyone uses the pic of She-Hulk. Like Austin Powers said, that's a man. Yeah, right. That's a man. And then he says, it's 2:40 a.m. here, late night for you, Courtney. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Where is he at? Where is Vince at?
Wait, that would make him. So he's somewhere in Europe, probably. I'm going to guess.
Gotta be. Yeah.
Where
are you at, Vince?
Vince, are you in Italy? I don't know. That's just yes, because Vince.
I have a good friend. Yeah, it's about that time in the morning.
That's 8 hours ahead for me.
Central Europe.
I have a friend in Italy.
Says he's in Central Europe. Okay.
Gotcha,
man.
I've been all over Europe. Europe's fun.
Thanks for watching, brother. Yeah, I use the She-Hulk one because I'm a fan of Sensational She-Hulk, and it's kind of pissing me off the way they're doing the show. But anyway, that's a story for another show. But listen, for me and for Courtney, thank you so much for showing up. It's Courtney. I appreciate you.
I feel better after talking. So I really appreciate it.
I wish I could do it every night of the week for you, but I can only do it once. So there you go.
So kind for saying that.
You will get the invitation every week if you have the spunk and want to come on. Go ahead.
Thank you very much.
Always welcome. Listen, guys, for me and it's Courtney, I want to thank you for showing up and thank you for watching. If you're watching it on a replay, please like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and share the video. And until we see you again, guys, you just keep on keeping on. God bless now.